Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Bojack. This is Bojack Photography. And today I'm doing something a little more for the straight up beginners. I'm talking about the people using their phones and still haven't completely got out of the fully automatic use of their camera yet. 5 tips or tricks, you can call them tricks, 5 tricks to better your photography, even shooting on fully automatic. So, with that being said, janky intro sequence. Go. Alright, so before we get into shooting, real quick I want to go over the 5 tricks with you. So, normally you have people, when they're taking their pictures, they hold the camera however they hold it. You know, I've seen it all ways. But the main thing is, they're in front like this, and that's about it. Right? So I'm gonna go over the 5 tricks with you. So we're gonna have framing, we're gonna have angle, we're gonna have perspective, we're gonna have depth, and we're gonna have light. So those 5 things right there are extremely important, and I am shooting JPEG. So this will be straight out of the camera, just how someone picking up their very first camera would pick up their camera. So, before we shoot, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be shooting today. So we're going to do a little bit of a product shoot. We're going to take this Bombay Sapphire, not sponsored, and a little bit of some juice with some ice cubes, make it look like a real cocktail. And we're going to have ourselves a little product shoot. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have a lot of space, and it's probably hard to hear me right now because the camera's so far away. But I'm gonna show you my quick setup. So I have my products, right? I have them where I want them, and I'm gonna just put them right next to each other. Here I've got a nice little black card. You can get this from the dollar store, wherever you wanna get it. It's kind of janked up right now, but this is just a quick shoot. So what I'm gonna do is I have this is now my backdrop. My key light is right next to you, and I'm gonna be shooting from over here. I really don't have a lot of space, so please bear with me. Like I said before, but let's talk about framing. So when people start off framing, they hold the camera right in front of them like this. Let's see how that picture looks. So that picture, oh, gotta sit down. So that picture isn't too bad, but when I think about framing, it's not just, you know, how the things are in the frame. It's also about how you're holding your camera. So the way I want to frame this up is I want this to take up more of the frame, so that way it looks a lot more dramatic, and it looks like I'm doing even more with the shot, or there's even more mystery to it. You know, you can't tell it's in my room, and you don't have to crop it, so you keep the full size image. So let's see how that looks when I take this and just turn it a little bit. Notice how big of a difference it made by just simply turning the camera from here to here. Now the framing goes from horizontal to vertical, which is very important sometimes, because sometimes when you're doing portrait shoots, you don't want too much of the background, you don't want too much ambient space. So you go from here to here, close up that ambient space, maybe give a little bit of head space, you pick up a little more of their body, and you get a great image overall. Here's an example. Alright, so number 2, angle. So a lot of people straight on. They like to keep their camera level, is what I'm trying to say. Like to keep the camera level, but slightly changing your angle from, say, this to this can make the image even so much more dramatic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle of it by figuring out which way I want to shoot. So I'm going to shoot another one like this, and then I'm going to tilt. Actually, I'm going to shoot one like this. I'm going to shoot it vertical, since that's how we're doing it this time. And then I'm either going to tilt like this or tilt like this. So first off, let's see straight up, which we kind of have an example already. So let's see straight up. Alright, now let's move just a little bit and change the angle. Alright, so we've already done 2 aspects. We've done framing, we've done angle. So now we're going to do perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it look like something else besides me or the camera is looking at this bottle. So I'm going to take my regular picture horizontally, and then I'm going to come around the table and then shoot another image. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, and then we're going to change perspective. So because there's light on this, I can kind of get the effect that I'm going to be lower than this table. So let me get down here. I'm going to change perspective up a little bit by shooting from above. Part about the last shot that you just saw is even though it looks like it's a vertical shot, I still took it horizontally. I personally framed it horizontally. That's how I was looking at it. But it kind of looks a little more vertical than horizontal, doesn't it? So there's the example of perspective. Then we're going to use something called depth. Depth is super important because it gives so much dimension to your image. One thing we do with depth is I'm going to take this cup, I'm going to move it forward and a little in front of the bottle. Then I'm going to take this Bombay, I'm going to push it a little further. So with that being done, this is going to look a little bigger than normal, and this is going to look a little more proportional. But then I'm going to add a little bit of flair to it. I'm going to take some things I have around me. I'm going to take this thing, pencil holder, bucket, I don't know. I'm going to set it right in front of the stuff, because this is going to be my shoot through. So now I have foreground, midground, background, and even further background. So let's add one more thing to kind of add a little. Let's do that. So I'm also going to show you another depth shot that I actually did in a different take, and I want you to tell me what you think about that. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. So here's your basic shot trying to use depth. Actually, no, I'm just gonna show you the basic shot. You guys know what the basic shot looks like now, right? I believe you do. You guys seem pretty smart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in. So here is what this looks like with a little more depth. I might make a couple adjustments as I do it, but you'll be here for it. So start this first. Woo. I really don't have enough space. So now you see the original image is really flat, not really doing much, but this image now has so much more character because you have the cup moved forward, your blue bottle is still really dynamic in the back, you got a little warmth in the top left corner. Some people say something like that can be really distracting, but honestly, play around and see how you feel about it, because ultimately this is going to be your style and what you do. Now that we've done 4 out of 5 tricks, which are framing, angle, perspective, and depth, now we move on to something that I think is probably one of the most important things that you can use as a tool, which is light. Sometimes you have control over it, sometimes you don't have control over it, but I'm gonna do 2 things for you. I'm gonna show you things you can do when you don't have control and what happens when you do have a little bit of control. So first things first, we're gonna take our first shot, which is no control. So I see that my light is coming from that angle, okay? I can't move it, I can't move anything else in the room, and I wanna take the best picture possible. So I evaluate where I want my light to hit. I want it to be a little more dramatic. I get a little more gold here because it's on me. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then, so now, I'm just gonna move this over this way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my shot from this angle. So I still have no control, so let's try one more thing. Boom. So now I'm using the light that I can't move as a backlight. Now you're not always going to be able to do this because sometimes you're working with ceiling light and it can be a little frustrating. However, if you do have like a lamp or something and it's there lighting your products, well, sometimes you don't always want to move the lamp because it's a big, heavy one. But you can move your table and you can move your products. So let's check this out. Battery is dying, so let's hurry up and do one quick thing. I'm gonna turn this off so that way my battery doesn't die right now. So I'm gonna do one quick thing, which is I'm gonna take this, put this back on my backdrop, and I'm gonna move my light real fast so that way I get exactly what I want. So I'm gonna take this softbox. Let me see, can you move to see that? Yeah. So I'm gonna take this softbox. I'm gonna put it right next to the subject exactly how I want it. I'm gonna move it off the background just a little bit. A little backlight. And that's exactly how I want the light. So let's go ahead and see how this looks. And then I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna combine depth with a little bit of perspective. Well, not even perspective. Depth with a little bit of angle with controlling the light. I don't want this in here. So now I'm doing something. All right, and we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back to my YouTube office, and then we will review. So there you have it, folks. Those were 5 tips. So let's talk about it one more time. Framing. It's as simple as understanding how you're holding your camera. Start there. Eventually, I stuttered over that word hard. Eventually, your framing is going to incorporate more than just how you're holding your camera. The next is angle. So we learned that depending on how you look at things, angle will completely change your perspective, and it'll give your subject more dominant or a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more submissive type of character. Then we actually have perspective. Where are you shooting from? Does it look like a bird is flying over, like with a drone shot? Does it look like, a bug is crawling on the table and seeing your product? Then you have depth. Depth is great because it allows you to be even more creative, because then you're using everything around you to create the scene. And last but not least, you have your light. I believe it's probably one of the most important things you can have as a photographer is light and light knowledge. So there are those 5 things. We went over them, showed you a couple pictures, and I hope you enjoyed it. And this works for your phone, this works for your GoPro, this works for your camera, whether it's an advanced camera or a new camera, whether it's a point and shoot or a DSLR. It works. Promise you. So now that I'm done with my whole spiel, I don't know why I wait till I end the video to do this. Maybe next time I will try to do it at the end. But comment below what you liked about this video, what you didn't like about this video. While you're commenting, go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know that you enjoyed what you watched. And if you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna keep that in. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. At least don't forget about it. Consider it next time. But with all that being said, I hope this helped you a lot. I hope COVID-19 isn't keeping you down. And you can't get out there because a lot of things are still shut down, but some things are opening back up. But if you can't get out there, then go ahead and stay in and create yourself some art, create yourself some beautiful images. And if you can get out there, go somewhere new, try something new, but don't go too far, and remember to social distance. With that being said, peace.